Fellas, I did a video about 2 or 3 weeks ago where I basically went over who the best fighter from every single country in the UFC is. And today we're going to be doing a very similar video to that, but we're going to be talking about the most promising prospect from every country in the UFC. Now, what do I mean by promising prospect? I mean, first of all, there cannot have been a champion before. There cannot be a champion in the UFC, so that they have to be, prospect. Or they can't have been at the top level before, is what I'm saying. They can't have fought for belts before and things like that. So that's kind of what I mean by promising prospect. And yeah, just let me know if you agree. We're going to do one. Well, we're going to do one of every main country in the UFC. So yeah, please let me know if you agree or if you have any thoughts of your own. But yeah, this is going to be my list for the most promising prospects in the UFC. Starting off with USA. Now, there's a lot from the USA because UFC is a USA dominated organization, but I'm going with Bo Nickel. There's so many options you can choose for USA, but I'm going with Bo Nickel because he is a huge star. He's had his record like 5-0 in MMA. He's undefeated, never lost a fight. Like I said, I know he's only had like a handful of fights, but he's never lost one of them. He's very popular as well. He's one of the biggest stars in the UFC. I mean, in only his fifth MMA fight, he was on the main card of UFC 290, which was a huge pay-per-view. I don't know how he managed to do that when his opponent was Val Woodburn. He's got knockout power as well. He's not just one of these Colby Covington style wrestlers where he's got nothing going for him on the feet, but he's a decent grappler. He's actually got knockout power, and I can see him sleeping people because, I mean, he has slept people. But the thing is, he's got such a threat of the takedown that people are going to be too wary of the takedown, and he's going to be able to sleep some people. I'm telling you, he's going to sleep a couple of these ranked opponents. I'd love to see him versus Chris Curtis. He's an S tier wrestler. I actually think he's one of the best pure wrestlers in the UFC, and I'm not talking just maybe not MMA wrestling, but listen, pure wrestling. He's one of the best, and I think he's grappling. I think he's got some insane grappling, man. And I think he's going to out-grapple a lot of these middleweights. I'm saying if you put him in there with Israel Adesanya, as much as obviously he's not even fought anyone ranked yet, right? His last fight was Val Woodburn. But I can genuinely see him ragdolling Israel Adesanya because his grappling is that good. I'd also love to see him versus Hamza, and I genuinely think he could become champion one day. If you're from America, you want to start watching Bo Nickel because he's a genuine talent. He's got talent. He's a huge star, and I think he's going to become champion one day. He's a top level fighter. He does need to fight someone ranked though. Like I said, his last fight was Val Woodburn. I'd love to see him versus like a Chris Curtis, maybe even just a simple step up. Like I don't know, just any step up for him. He needs to fight someone. I think he needs to get in the ranking soon because he's got all this talk about him. It's about time we give him someone ranked. But I'd say the most promising prospect from USA, from what I've seen, it's got to be Bo Nickel. So promising prospect from the UFC. Promising prospect from USA. I'm going Bo Nickel. From Brazil. Brazil is a huge country in MMA, but I'm going to go with Gelton Almeida. I'm surprised he's not talked about enough. I don't really see much people talking about Gelton Almeida when they should be. Maybe it's because they don't really like the heavyweight division. But if this guy was ranked in the lightweight division, his name would be everywhere. But I'm going with Gelton Almeida. He's the best grappler in the heavyweight division. 100%. I think he's the best grappler. Yes, I do think he's better than John Jones at grappling. Curtis Blades, Sergey Spivak, any of the grapplers. I think he's the best pure grappler. He has got some of the best jiu-jitsu I've seen. Not only in the heavyweight division, but in the UFC. His jiu-jitsu is genuine S tier. He's got amazing jiu-jitsu. He's pretty powerful as well. He hits hard. I mean, let's be honest. The drugged up Ninja Turtle's probably on steroids, but still, he hits hard. Like Mbappe, if he went down the MMA route, and I know I've made that joke before, so let me off. But still, yeah, he hits very hard. He's grappling. Yeah, he's going to be fighting Curtis Blades soon. I think it's in November. I think it's in Brazil as well. So he's going to be main eventing in his home country, and that's going to be huge. I mean, we've had Tom Aspinall headline in London, we've had Cyril Gane headline in Paris, and now we're going to get Gelton Almeida headline in Brazil. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does in front of a crowd. But honestly, I think he's going to beat Blades. Blades has the tools to become champion, but his fight IQ is terrible. I don't know what happened to it. He should take a DNA test or something, but I think Gelton Almeida is going to beat him pretty quickly. Maybe not quickly, but within 3 rounds, I reckon. But Gelton Almeida, he's the most promising prospect from Brazil. I think he'll be entitled, well, maybe not titled, but he'll be fighting some of these tough contenders like Cyril Gane, Aspinall, Volkov, Pavlovich. He'll be fighting those type of names, I reckon, after this fight. Yeah, amazing grappler, hits hard, this guy's got everything going for him to become champion, and I think he will be champion soon. So, well, actually, I don't think he'll be champion, but I think he'll be in the top end of heavyweight soon. And imagine this guy versus Cyril Gane. All I'm saying is it wouldn't go too good for Cyril Gane, but I'm going to go Gelton Almeida for the biggest prospect right now in Brazil. Then we move on to Russia. For Russia, I'm going with Umar Nurmagomedov. There's a couple Russian fighters out there, but I'm going to go with Umar Nurmagomedov. The thing is, he needs to fight. He keeps pulling out of fights. He had a massive opportunity against Corey Sandhagen that he blew away. He just needs to fight. Maybe get him on the UFC 294 card if he's not booked already. But yeah, I'm going with Umar Nurmagomedov for the best prospect from Russia right now. I mean, first of all, look at his last name. Nurmagomedov is never a good sign when you're going against someone with the last name Nurmagomedov. He's undefeated as well, never lost a fight. I think he's 14-0. And he's not just one of these Dagestanis that relies on grappling. There's a lot of Russian grapplers out there, Russian Dagestani wrestlers that just tend to go for the takedown, and when the takedown gets stuffed, they have nothing going for him. But he's got genuine talent. This isn't no Abbas Magomedov. He's a genuine Dagestani with knockout power. I can genuinely see him putting some people's lights out in the bantamweight division. And I actually think he's going to touch the belt one day. Maybe it might be a few years because he keeps pulling out of fights, but one day I genuinely see Umar Nurmagomedov becoming champion. He's got knockout power. He's got great wrestling. Like I said, needs to kind of in the same position of Bo Nickel, where he needs to fight a ranked, genuine opponent to prove himself. But I think he will do that, and I think he'll ace a lot of these bantamweights. The only bantamweights I can see him getting trouble from is Corey Sandhagen, Merab, maybe Sterling, because Sterling, he's a decent grappler. He did dominate the division for a while. But apart from that, I don't see much, and Henry Cejudo, but apart from that, I don't see much of these bantamweights getting in his way, and I think he'll be champion, especially with the team that he's got. So if you're from Russia, listen, you've got a genuine prospect on your hands in the bantamweight division. Umar Nurmagomedov, listen, from what I've seen from him, it's been good. Listen, he's passed the eye test. I think he could actually touch belt in the bantamweight division one day. Next up, we have England. Now, there's a couple people from England. There's Tom Aspinall. There's Nathaniel Wood. I'm going with Lerone Murphy. And for those wondering why I haven't picked Tom Aspinall, it's because Tom Aspinall, I think we all know that he's probably going to be champion one day. So if I was to go with Tom Aspinall, it would be the boring answer. And he's probably going to be fighting for a belt within 2 fights. So I'm not going to go Aspinall. I'm going to go Lerone Murphy. No one really talks about Lerone Murphy. I don't think anyone really discusses him. Maybe because he's a boring fighter and doesn't have any personality. But either way, listen, from us people from England, you should be tuning in to watch Lerone Murphy. He's a genuine prospect from the UK. Listen, featherweight, I'm telling you, featherweight is a stacked division for UK fighters. We've got Arnold Allen, we've got Nathaniel Wood, but we've got Lerone Murphy, and I'm going with Lerone Murphy because between him and Nathaniel Wood, I think he beats Nathaniel Wood. He's never lost a fight, he's undefeated, and he's tough as nails, man. I believe he got shot in the head like a few times and survived. So this guy's been through a lot of things and survived. He's absolutely tough as nails. Maybe his fighting style doesn't show that because he is kind of just the wrestling style. But, I mean, I think he should be praised for that. He's British and can wrestle. How many British people do you see being able to wrestle? I mean, we've got, Tom Aspinall and Lerone Murphy. He's a genuine British fighter that can wrestle. Maybe he's boring, but still, he's ranked in the top 15. I think if he gets another couple wins, he could genuinely be in, contender talk. Maybe, I mean, Max Holloway's just been booked against Josh Emmett, so I wouldn't be surprised if a couple fights Lerone Murphy will be fighting someone like that. But still, I think Lerone Murphy, genuine prospect from the UK. He's got talent. He just absolutely wrestled Josh Culibao in his last fight at UFC London. Like I said, boring fight, but still, it works. It works. Listen, Lerone Murphy, undefeated, never lost a fight. I think he's going to be... I don't think he's going to be champion, but I think he's a genuine prospect from the UK. We have to see how he does against some of these top 15 ranked fighters, but still, I think Lerone Murphy's got everything going for him. If he improves his striking just a little bit, and maybe gets a little bit better on the mic because he can't really sell himself. If he masters those two things, he's a huge star. The reason he's not a huge star is because he's boring. But listen, this isn't to discriminate how entertaining fighters are. This is just prospects, and for me, the most valuable prospect from the UK, the one that I think could climb the rankings fastest, is Lerone Murphy. Next up, we have Australia. I'm going with Jack Della Maddalena. Right, I'm going with JDM from Australia. Kai Kara France, he's had his shot at the title, didn't go his way. I'm going with Jack Della Maddalena. I think he's the best prospect we've got from Australia. He's going to be fighting in the co-main event this weekend against Kevin Holland. And if he can get past Kevin Holland, depending on how dominant it is, I think that's a huge fight for him. I actually think Kevin Holland could be. I actually think if I had to bet money, I'm going to bet money on Kevin Holland because it's Kevin Holland. But if he can get past Kevin Holland, easy. Listen, this guy, he's already a valuable prospect in the UFC. He's never lost a fight in the UFC. He's finished most of them. A couple by knockout. He's got a submission on there as well, I believe. And he's an amazing boxer. One of the best boxers in the UFC right now. He hits like a truck. He's an amazing boxer. What he did at UFC 284 on the Volkanovski Islam undercard. He's a genuine talent from Australia. He's tough. He's been in some wars. Look, he's that tough. His nose looks like it's broken 24/7. But I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Jack Della Maddalena. What is it with Australian fighters, by the way? Looking quite strange. Like we've got Jack Della Maddalena, who's got a broken nose 24/7. We've got the other guy. What's his name? I forgot his name, but there's an Australian who looks like he's got inverted eyebrows. I forgot his name. Jamie Malarkey, that's it. Jamie Malarkey with the inverted eyebrows. I don't know what's going on with him, but either way. And the thing is about JDM, he can hold his own when grappling. He did have a fairly tough fight in his last fight, but listen, it was an unexpected fight. It wasn't 100% JDM. He can hold his own when grappling. He's tough. He's a great boxer. If he improves his takedown defense a little bit, and I don't know, maybe ups his conditioning, if he can get past Kevin Holland, that's a huge statement. And I think Australia's best fighter right now, in terms of prospect, is JDM. Champion material. What is he in the welterweight division? Champion material in the welterweight division. Imagine we saw him versus Leon Edwards or him versus Ian Gary. Those would be two huge fights. But for now, Australia, I'm going JDM. And for Africa, I'm going with the based Manel Kape. After UFC 293, he became a star. Before UFC 293, he was a decent name on the card for Kai Kara France. It was somewhat entertaining. But after UFC 293, the press conference that he had where he started throwing things at Kai Kara France and trash talking to Israel Adesanya and made Israel Adesanya look soy. After that, listen, Manel Kape's grown his popularity massively. He's a huge star in the flyweight division, arguably the biggest prospect in the flyweight division right now. Him versus Kai Kara France as a fight night main event would be massive. I don't care if it's in Australia. I don't care if they decide to put on like a pay-per-view of UFC Africa. I don't care if they do a fight night main event with him and Kai Kara France in the Apex. I think him versus Kai Kara France would be a massive fight night. The build-up would be insane. I'd probably prefer to see it on a pay-per-view, to be honest, because then you can kind of see him trash talk on press conferences and things like that. But Manel Kape, he's a huge star, and I think he could fight for a belt soon. He lost his first two fights in the UFC, but ever since then he's been beating his opponents. He just won this weekend, like I said, at UFC 293. So Manel Kape for me, listen, he kind of plays the perfect heel, and I think if he can beat Kai Kara France, the UFC, I don't think they'd have a problem giving him a title shot because he's a genuine star. He's not boring. He's a genuine star. He can sell himself. So if he can get past Kai Kara France, I wouldn't even mind seeing him against like a Pantoja. I know he's lost to Pantoja before, but still. Manel Kape for me is the best prospect from Africa. And yeah, that for me is the most promising prospect from every country in the UFC. Please let me know if you agree or if I missed a couple countries out. But yeah, thank you for watching.